fun as the chat room is filling up here. We're going to have so much fun with this person. This person has been on the show before. I don't remember when. It was probably 6, 7, 8 months ago, maybe. It was right before. Actually, I think it was right before maybe Raw 25, maybe like right before, maybe a week before. So yeah, and now he's back, and we're going to do it in Q&A style. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get right into it. Eric Bischoff, how are you today, sir? How are you tonight, sir? Awesome. So before we get into any questions, let the listeners know about your awesome podcast nowadays, which is 83 weeks.
83 weeks. I think we've done. We've been up now for about 6 months. We've probably done somewhere between 20 and 26 episodes. Is my guess. Our numbers, our downloads keep growing every week. I think we're the number 2 wrestling podcast in the world, second only to Bruce Pritchard and Conrad Thompson, with something to wrestle with. And I don't mind. If I have to be number 2 to somebody, I don't mind being number 2 to Bruce and Conrad.
Yeah.
It's going well. We continue to have a lot of fun and getting a lot of great feedback, so it's all good.
Yeah, and at least you share the co-host as far as the number 1 and number 2. There's the commonality of of that. And Bruce's podcast has been around a lot longer than yours, and as well as a lot of other podcasts has been around longer than yours. And for you to be the number 2 podcast right now, a lot of people are interested in Eric Bischoff stories. Mm-hmm.
Which I think is hard to argue is probably one of the most significant eras in the history of professional wrestling for at least 3 or 4 generations.
Yeah.
I second only to possibly the early '80s when Vince McMahon kind of transitioned the business from being a territory business with regional television. When Vince embraced cable television and kind of dismantled all the territories, that was certainly, in many ways, the most important era in recent times. But I think the Monday Night War era is right there with it in terms of the way it changed the industry and the way the product is produced.
Yeah. I mean, it's really interesting as far as the era is concerned, and how much you played a part of it. You were the adversary to Vince McMahon, and we talked a lot before as far as just how much you just respected your opportunity to work for the WWE, and just how much how controversial that was, but at the same time how much you really enjoyed being a part of the WWE product, in spite of being the 83 weeks being on top, and just the war that y'all had for nearly 6 years. Just before we start getting into the questions, I guess my question for you is, you were talking about just the 2000 Nitro before, and you're talking about Piper now, but just the 2000 era. What are your thoughts as far as just overall WCW product? And then did you feel like the writing was on the wall as far as just the end of the Monday Night Wars in early 2001? Did you kind of foreshadow something? Because as far as I remember, you had a deal up, and some things fell through. After all that happened, what were your overall thoughts on just where WCW was going?
Let me kind of break that question down into a couple segments. You asked a couple questions there. The handwriting was on the wall for me, as I've discussed many times before, probably going back to 1998, was when I first started seeing a real shift in Turner and AOL and Time Warner as a result of the merger. And wrestling fans tend to just, they don't want to hear it. They don't want to try to think about, something that was much larger than the day-to-day operation of WCW is having such a dramatic impact on the business. But it's true. And there's a new book out now written by a gentleman by the name of Guy Evans. It's called Nitro: The Incredible Rise and Inevitable Fall of Ted Turner's WCW. It's one of the best. It's the most researched, most well-written book. Guy Evans is not only a journalist, he's an historian. He interviewed over 120 different individuals, many of whom were executives that nobody in the wrestling business has ever interviewed before. Very high-placed executives that were very instrumental in all of the things that went on with WCW. People that, were way above my head. And that book really does such a phenomenal job of really breaking down what really happened to WCW. And it's not what most wrestling fans only know what they read in the dirt sheets and chat rooms and, that kind of thing. And unfortunately, those stories and that information is generally so far off the mark. It's sad.
Mm-hmm.
But the book does a great job, and I encourage fans who really, look, if you just want to get on and, chat lives and, troll and get people talking and, whatever, by all means, have at it.
Yeah.
But if you really, really understand what really happened to WCW, I encourage everybody to read that book. And the book will support, to a certain degree, what I'm suggesting here is the handwriting on the wall, as you referenced, it really started in 98. It got worse in 99. By 2000, it wasn't just handwriting. It was, blaze orange warning signs.
Mm-hmm.
And by 2001, inevitable what was going to happen.
Yeah. Well, we got some questions rolling in here. We got Francesco asking, what was Eric's toughest challenge when competing against WWE in Monday Night War?
There was not one single challenge. There was, a combination of challenges. In the beginning, I want to be careful how I say this because I don't want it to sound arrogant. In the beginning was actually quite easy because our mindset was that we had nothing to lose. We had everything to gain and nothing to lose.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we started out, we were a distant number 2, and everybody predicted us, to fail. All the dirt sheet writers, everybody that talked about, thought about, wrote about professional wrestling. Certainly, nobody in WWF took us seriously. We had nothing to lose. And when you're in a fight and you've got nothing to lose, it actually kind of frees you up.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no fear. You're not afraid. That's one of the things that I think slows most people down and most businesses down, and is fear of failure. Once you get to a certain point in business or in life, you're more careful about making a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's a good point.
When you're at the bottom and you've got nowhere to go but up, you don't have that fear. And sometimes that lack of fear propels you to a level that nothing else could.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a rule I think people should think about in life is you really sometimes just have to be fearless.
Yeah.
And don't let fear of failure slow you down. And that's where we were at. So that's when I say, I don't want to make it sound easy or arrogant, but there's a lot to be said for having no fear. Once we became successful, and this is where it gets complicated. This is the kind of opposite of what I just said. Because I felt it. I was guilty of this. It's a lot easier to become successful than it is to stay successful.
Mm-hmm.
And once we got to the top and we were winning the Monday Night Wars, we started second guessing ourselves. And of course the competition, they got their ass kicked for, all of 96 and all of 97. And towards the end of 1997, they realized they had to do something different. And they kind of created the Attitude Era to combat what we were doing. And they did it really well. And once they started once they changed their model to be kind of like ours, and they created the Attitude Era, which is actually kind of took the whole NWO thing and they turned up the volume on it a little bit. Then it got to be real challenging.
Mm-hmm.
It was not only what was I competing against the competition, at the same time there was a lot of internal pressure and changes within Turner that I had to also compete against the people I worked for, believe it or not.
Yeah.
So it was an interesting time. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, sure. I got some good questions rolling in here. Wallboy's asking, what will you have done differently with the invasion angle?
I'm guessing that question references the WCW invasion of
2001. Yeah.
Well, a lot. that angle was a mess.
Yeah.
It could have worked had the right people been involved. The biggest mistake that WWE made was revealing that Vince McMahon was behind the NWO. I think that was about as much of a creative stretch of imagination as anyone could possibly take.
Mm-hmm.
And it just didn't resonate. It wasn't believable. The NWO is still successful to this day. It's still some of the hottest selling merchandise in WWE around the world. And the reason for that is it had an authenticity. It was believable. It was organic. It didn't feel like a goofy wrestling story. The way the NWO was introduced into WWE was a goofy wrestling story, and it lost its authenticity. People just didn't buy into it.
Yeah.
That would have been one of the first things.
Yeah. What about the 2001 invasion angle? Sans a bunch of bigger stars such as Goldberg, Sting, even like the Hogans. They didn't come until 2002. So what are your thoughts on just the 2001 invasion angle that didn't really last long? It actually ended up merging people like Steve Austin and others, Kurt Angle, to Team WCW/ECW. What's your take on that?
I wasn't watching it very closely, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of separating myself from the product at that point. Wasn't really very interested in it. But, from what I've gone back and watched and read, discussed with other people over the years, again, in an invasion angle, the only way that's going to work is if you have kind of pillars, the tentpole characters, if you will, the Stings and the Lugers and the key people that represented WCW, the Steiners, the Ric Flairs, and have them all kind of working together and really cohesively representing the WCW brand, but they didn't do that.
Right.
It was kind of a slow drip kind of approach to creative, and it just didn't work. It didn't connect with the audience. It didn't feel believable. They didn't have the right people. And I'm not suggesting that I would have made any difference at all in that particular angle at that particular time. But to not have me, the guy that was running WCW and was the face of it and had been such a big focus of the Monday Night Wars, to not be a part of that, also kind of left it feeling a little bit incomplete and just not relatable.
Yep. Yeah, and that's a really good point. Got another question. JumpTube was asking, what was WCW's payroll as a percent to total revenue at the end of WCW?
Well, that's a really funny question. I can't possibly tell you what it was at the end of WCW because I wasn't running things then. When I left WCW as president in September of 1999, to the best of my recall, we were we're probably operating at about, let me think this through just a little bit, probably around 28% of our total revenue would have been talent. And when I say talent, I'm including travel, all things associated with talent. I would say somewhere between 28, 30, 31%.
Okay.
But I applaud the question. Just nobody's ever asked a financial question with that much detail, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's see here. Got Muhammad asking, will you be at Crown Jewel or SmackDown 1000?
No.
For neither?
Definitive no. Definitive no on both.
Okay. Were there ever any real talks about Undertaker jumping to WCW? Did you have any actual negotiations with him?
You know, that's a question that comes up so often. I'm surprised. I don't know why it keeps coming up. I've said for decades now, which is weird to hear myself say, but I've been saying now for decades that, you know, I never had one conversation with Undertaker, Mark Callis, or anybody that represented him, or anybody that was a close friend of him. There was never a syllable conversation with anybody about bringing in the Undertaker, ever. But that you know, urban narrative, you know, that question still floats around out there. And
yeah.
People still think that, you know, there must have been some conversation, but there never was.
Now, Undertaker came to WWE in 90. You were transitioning out of AWA at the time?
I was still in AWA. I was in AWA until 91 or 92. 91.
Gotcha. So probably there was a 2-year miss between you and Mark Callis. You know, not the Undertaker, but Mark Callis is the character, because he was in WCW in 89 and ended up going to WWE in 90. Yeah. Okay.
I can't remember the year, but he was long gone.
Gotcha. What's your take on Cody and the Bucks? Do you see WWE in their future?
That was a two-part question. I'll answer the first part. Love Cody. Don't know him very well. Don't know him well at all. He worked in WWE for a while I was there. I certainly remember him when he was a kid, long before he got into the business. I was very close with his father for a long time. Think the world of him. I think what he's done, you know, just back it up a little bit. Everybody's, you know, looking at the success of All In. There's an event that, you know, these guys promoted with their own money, with no support television, an independent event in every, you know, sense of the word. And they did a $458,000 gate. So let's just call it $500,000, which is unheard of. I don't think anybody's ever done that in the independent scene. Correct me if I'm wrong. They did approximately $1 million of pay-per-view that night. And they did all of that without any television support. Think about that for a moment.
Yeah, it's astonishing.
Because in the wrestling business for decades now, you couldn't exist if you didn't have television. You not only had to have television, you had to have significant television, major cable, you know, major distribution. Syndication alone isn't even enough anymore. You have to have major cable distribution and a platform. These guys did it without that.
Yeah.
Which I think is just mind-bending. It just cracks me up.
Yep.
In a good way. So that, you know, that's number one. And number two, I think as people, you know, they're good people. I worked with the Bucks for, you know, a minute in TNA. Know them a little bit, not a lot. I only know them professionally. I don't know them personally. But, you know, I look at those three guys and what they've accomplished. Now on to the second part of your question. I hope they don't go anywhere near WWE. because they've built such a phenomenal brand for themselves. They're so successful, independent of WWE, that I can't imagine they would want to give up that independence and that creativity and the ability to do it again, only to become a part of a much bigger machine. And I think WWE is absolutely the place you want to be. If you're in a professional wrestling business, if you're a young wrestler, that's where you aspire to go. But Cody was there.
Yep.
Cody was there, chose to walk away, which makes me admire him even more, because he was walking away from a solid six-figure income.
Yep.
He was making more than most doctors and surgeons and lawyers, even in the limited role that he had there. Even though he didn't have a high profile, he was making more money than most, brain surgeons. So to walk away from that at such a young age, because he believed in himself and had a vision for himself, I just think is such an admirable characteristic.
Yep. Yeah, that's
You can't say enough. We could do a whole show about those guys. I think the world of them.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, a few rapid fire questions. Would you have done anything on how WWE brought in Sting?
No, it's easy to be critical, especially being our armchair quarterback. But look, it was what it was. Sting was at the end of his career. It was a chance for Sting to step onto that big platform, to put a period at the end of his sentence in his career, to finally be a part of WWE at the largest show of the year. And look, I think it was what it was. Sting is a good friend of mine. I think he loved every minute of it. I think he looks back at it personally as one of the highlights of his career. And that's all anybody can ask for.
Yep. Rampage, if you had to pick one professional wrestling match from the 1980s that was your favorite, which one was it and why?
From the 80s? Oh, that's a big broad spectrum. I would say anything with Nick Bockwinkel and Kurt Hennig.
Nice. JJB, what is your Mount Rushmore of wrestling?
Oh, very subjective. I think it would have to be Hulk Hogan, Vince McMahon, Ric Flair, probably Stone Cold.
What?
That was only 4. How many are on the Mount Rushmore? Is it 4 or 5?
It's typically 4. It's what as far as I remember. I can find that out right quick. I'm sure someone will say something about it. As far as how many yeah. Chat room, how many people's in the Mount Rushmore? I'm sure we'll get some answers real quick on that. Until then, favorite moment in 4. Oh, all right, 4. People keep saying 4, 4, 4. Okay. All right. Favorite moment in WCW.
Wow, great question. The Hogan turn.
Yeah, that's a safe that's a safe answer for sure, and I think that's shared by you and many others. Lexi, looking back over your career in both WWE and WCW, what is your biggest regret? Or what major decision would you have changed if you could?
That's a hard question. Because I don't regret anything. I know that sounds arrogant or hard to understand in some respects, but when I look back, and I look at my time in wrestling overall. I don't look at increments of it. I sit around and I go, wow, I was in this business that I love for 25 or 30 years. I made a phenomenal amount of money. My family got to go places and see things and do things that otherwise they never would have had the opportunity to do, all because I was in the wrestling business. And I still have friends to this day that I met in WWF, that I worked with at WCW, and here I am doing an interview in a chat room, on a Tuesday night, and people still give a shit about what I have to say. So it's hard for me to look back and regret anything, to be honest. I take the good with the bad. I think if there was a moment that I could call a do-over, I don't regret it, but if I could call a do-over, it would have probably been, sometime around August of 1998 when I was in a meeting, and I've referenced this many times before, but it was in that meeting when I really understood and began to feel. I began to understand. I didn't understand it completely, but I really began to understand just how much of an impact that the AOL Time Warner merger was going to have on WCW. And my instinct was to resign. And I went home and I told my wife, and we talked about it for a few days. And I gave it strong consideration and that was at a time when WCW was still on top. My reputation, my value at Turner was still very, very high. And I knew that. And I knew I was faced with the decision to either believe in myself and resign because I knew that the direction we were going was wrong, or be a team player and do the best I could. And I chose the latter because I kind of my nature. I fought, I argued, I threatened, I did everything I knew how to do, and it didn't work, so I stuck it out, knowing that we were heading in the wrong direction. If I could do a do-over, I probably would have resigned. But it would have forced a situation at that time that might have had, at least temporarily, that might have turned things around for a while and delayed the inevitable. But honestly, at the end of it, it wouldn't matter because AOL Time Warner didn't want wrestling. They just didn't want it.
Yeah.
They didn't want it if it was hugely successful. They didn't want it if it was losing money. They did not want wrestling on their networks. That was the beginning, the middle, and the end of this story.
Yeah. All right, a few more for I appreciate your time with us, Eric. Just some real quick ones. Let's do. Do you ever think CM Punk will ever wrestle again?
I have no way of knowing. I don't know CM Punk. I've never met him. I don't know where his head is at. I think there's a big opportunity, if he would do something with Cody and the Bucks and, all in on the independent scene. I think he could, make a big payday and have a lot of success and probably enjoy himself. But I have no idea. I don't know him. I have no idea what he's feeling or thinking.
Yeah. All right, two more. Do you ever consider making a WWE return?
Well, it's not up to me.
True.
The only way I would consider it if somebody would pick up the phone and say, hey, do you want to come back? Then I would be forced to consider it. Until then, I don't think about it.
All right. What's your relationship with Vince McMahon today?
We're friendly. We're not friends. Don't chat. He doesn't call me up and ask me what I'm doing during the week. I don't call him and ask him what kind of workout he's in the middle of. But we're friendly, I think, professionally. I have a lot of respect for him, if that matters to anybody. I wish him the best. I admire what he's done with his company. I admire the way he built his company. He's got a lot of amazing people. That's what I admire about Vince McMahon more than his financial success. Is quite honestly the loyalty and the quality of people that work with him and around him, from the executive level all the way down to the people that are working behind the scenes that no one's ever going to meet. The production staff. At every level, people that work in the travel department that have been here for 20 and 30 years, that work their guts out and are so professional and treat everybody so well. I mean, there's just, no matter where you turn in that company, you have some of the highest quality, most loyal people you'll ever meet.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably what I admire about this man, more than even, the financial success that he's achieved.
Yeah. Last question, Eric. What was your favorite WCW pay-per-view?
What's your favorite kid? Too hard. Too hard. I would say, I tend to like the Halloween Havoc series the best for me. And I don't know if it's because of fall. I've always loved the fall. I've always loved Halloween since I was a little kid. They were pay-per-views that were themed very heavily towards the end, in the late 90s when we were really rocking and rolling. We were at the MGM Grand in, Las Vegas, and it was a massive event with 15 or 18,000 people. And it was fun being in Vegas, producing a hot show. So I would have to say, take your pick on Halloween Havoc. But there were others, for different reasons. Starcade '97 I enjoyed to a degree.
Yeah.
But I would have to say Halloween Havoc.
Awesome. All right, chat. We're gonna have to stop it there. I value Eric's time, and so I thank you for that very much. Any closing thoughts?
No, I just want to thank you for inviting me on. I want to encourage people to check out 83 Weeks. This week's episode is a tribute show to Roddy Piper. We're getting a lot of great feedback on it, so I encourage people who haven't listened to 83 Weeks yet. It's available on wherever you get your favorite podcast. Look for 83 Weeks with Eric Bischoff. This week's episode about Roddy Piper, and thanks for spending a couple hours with me.
It's been a pleasure, Eric. Thanks again for coming on the show.
All right, see ya.
Bye. Eric Bischoff, ladies and gentlemen. Eric Bischoff. Someone just Rob just said, "What did I miss?" You just missed a half an hour with Eric Bischoff. Q&A with Eric Bischoff. That's what you just missed. Actually, about 35 minutes, almost 35 minutes of about a half hour, a little over a half hour of Eric Bischoff. I did advertise it. Someone just he said, "Well, I kissed Eric Bischoff." I did advertise it. Follow me at Crave Wrestling, at Chris Prolific. Follow the Crave Wrestling. Yeah, thank you, Wild Boy. It was on Twitter. It was on Facebook. So totally very much advertised. It was shared among many groups. It was advertised on Twitter and Facebook. So yeah, we'll have more of those. Okay. Taking yeah. So there you go. We'll have more of these, and we'll have more live Q&A for you guys. All right. I used to have them a lot, actually. I've had one with Jack Swagger before. I've had one with my boy Marty Elias, JTG, Matt Seidel. I think DJ Z. I've had one with Vince Russo before, so I've had quite a bit. So yeah, we'll have some more. We'll have some more for you all, okay? Because Pancakes and Powerslams is the best fans in the world, so I definitely want to make sure that you all are being pleased with the Q&A. All right. Can you get Vince McMahon? Well, you better be sure that I will try. Rampage, no, I have not had The Rock. However, I have talked to The Rock's agent. When I used to write for Fox Sports, I almost landed an interview with The Rock. Almost, but there was a scheduling conflict that did not allow that to happen. But the agent was really nice. He thanked me. There was interest, but there was a scheduling conflict when I was writing for Fox Sports. So, but recently I got Goldberg. I did interview Goldberg recently. Booker T. I've interviewed over. I don't even know. you know who would be. You know who would be so over. and I would give many kudos to right now. Rob, don't jump off your roof. He said jump off your roof now. Come on. No, I've not tried to get John Cena. Thank you, Wild Boy. It was awesome. It's the greatest night of your life. Thank you. I got an Ask Chris question as well that we'll get to. This is a really good Ask Chris question from Brandon. Yeah, Heyman's a good option. Heyman's a good option. I think I'll try to work on that. I'll try to work on Paul Heyman. Would you be kind to have me on your show, sir? All right. Let's see what else we got. Don't pull a Foley and jump off a roof. We wouldn't want to lose. Yeah, that's true, man. Rob, you're one of the peeps. You're one of the family on the show. Good. Ask Chris questions. Like Vince would say, Eric Bischoff. There you go. There's some good questions going on right now. Ask Chris. There was okay. Yeah, this is a good one, Brandon. Are you feeling bald head HBK? I think he looks weird. Brandon, you and me both think that he looks weird. I am not a fan of it at all, not even 1%. I was going to talk about that on the Raw Raw portion, but baldhead HBK is a no-go for me. Totally a no-go for me. It didn't look right. I'm so used to Shawn having long hair, and it was recent because the last time he was here, he actually had hair. The last time he was on the Raw, because I was actually there. I was actually live at Raw when he was at Raw, the Undertaker surprise, and he had hair. And I remember the whole WrestleMania time is when he cut his hair, and he had wasn't a big fan of it. I wasn't a big fan of the cut, but I understand why he wanted to cut. He was losing his hair, like all right here. He was losing it. But you could tell, see, that's the thing with going bald sometimes, especially with him. He's 53 years old. If you're already balding, if you cut your hair bald, it's a really tough chance for it to come back. And you could tell on Raw that when you look at the top of his head, it was just like bald. You can tell the shave on the sides, but just on the top, it was like total baldness. So he probably saw it and was like, look, I'm trying to hang on, and there's nothing else to hang on to. And which is sad because I think hair, I'm a big fan of gear. I think wrestling gear has a lot to do with branding. I think especially theme songs has probably the best form of branding with a professional wrestler is your theme song and a catchphrase. And I think even hairstyle has something to do with branding. So yeah, I think that's why I wasn't a big fan of when Taker cut his hair. I was not a big fan at all, especially when he did the tombstone. The hair kind of drapes down and he just kind of whips it back. That's a part of the Undertaker. That's the finish of the Undertaker. It's the part of the whole Undertaker gimmick. So yeah. Real quick, before I ask Chris question, I want to take the time to right now. This is a Tuesday night. For those on Facebook Live, it's a Thursday night. Again, hashtag Ask Chris if you have any questions. Look at this on Facebook. Any day of the week after Tuesday on audio. Hashtag Ask Chris. This is Tuesday night. We're closing Tuesday night here, October the 2nd. This is my 8th year wedding anniversary with my wife and I, so I want to give a special shout out to my wife for us celebrating our anniversary, and I'm here with you all on the Pancakes and Powerslams show as a bow to celebrate my anniversary day. So you all are joining me today in our celebration. So all right, we got some good Ask Chris questions. Hashtag Ask Chris, and we got some good ones. Who was your best? Ooh, wow, boy, this is a good one. I'll put you over for that. Who was my best or / favorite interview? Okay. Man. Okay. You're going to make me look at the at a list of my interviews here. I'm going to go through some of them here. I recently did Mike Knox. That was fun. This show is 6.5 years old, and I've interviewed over 100 people. Standouts. I mean, Mike Knox was over an hour a couple of weeks back, and it was really good. And he's funny too. We talked a lot off air too, and he's funny guy. Let me look at these. I liked Jay Lethal was cool. I liked Jay Lethal probably because he's my favorite wrestler, and it was cool to interview him. Let's see. I'm gonna look and see what my favorite. I'm gonna look at a list of my interviews and check and see my favorite. Interestingly enough, the most we get some great subscribers. We get a good subscriber count. You know, it's always worth plugging the show. Hey, subscribe to Pancakes the Powerslams show. Share. Let your friends and family know about the Pancakes the Powerslams show, so we can continue to boost the downloads, the audio downloads. I know we do a video thing every week, which you guys are awesome, and I love the chat. But download the audio as well. So there's my plug real quick on that. So I'm gonna pull some interviews up and see because I forget so much. Johnny Gargano was a good one. I actually did a piece of my interview on Johnny Gargano when I was writing for Sports Illustrated. Goldberg was good. He was friendly too. Here's the thing. I always pay attention to how people are off air. Because of course you are listening and hearing the people on air, but the conversations that I have with the people off air, it means that's the stuff to look at as far as like how good is this going to go, and how much is this person kind of really willing to have a good time with me on the show, because we have to feed off each other. There's some interview. I'm not going to say the names of the interviews that I didn't like so much, but there's one particular interview of someone who was a former WWE mid-card champion, multi-time mid-card champion in WWE. I interviewed him, and I was like, man, because I love interviewing. I do it every week, and I'm all about just really vibing off of the person, vibing off of the wrestler, really filling the interview, having a good time. Because I've been a journalist for a while, and to me, just like cookie cutter type of interviews, just I asked the question, you answered, and I go back. The whole, Chris Farley. Chris Farley is my all-time favorite actor. And the whole Chris Farley effect, it's kind of like you remember when you did that on the movie, and the person will be like, yeah, and Chris Farley will be like, that was awesome. And then like, you idiot, and I never want to interview like Chris Farley, as much as I was a big Chris Farley's the GOAT to me as far as an actor is concerned. But a lot of interviewers interview like Chris Farley. That's why I really enjoyed Mike Knox, because he had fun with me. We had a fun interviewing together. And so I always pay attention to that. So with that, I enjoyed Matt Taven. I enjoyed Matt Taven. I had him on a few years back. Who has a list? I'm gonna look at that's a really good question. I'm gonna see. As far as the people I've interviewed who I really enjoyed the most. Oh yeah, I was gonna say interestingly enough, one of the as many people, that's why I wanted to the plug the download audio download tangent. It's crazy enough, as many successful interviews I've had that's had thousands and thousands of listens. One of the most listened to interview of all time was Daniel Puder. I still find that incredibly interesting that, you know, Goldberg, Booker T, Rikishi, DDP, Johnny Gargano. I mean, the list goes on as far as people I've interviewed, current and former WWE guys. Drew McIntyre, I've interviewed him too. As far as just like out of all the really big names that I've interviewed, Daniel Puder was one of the most popular names that I've interviewed of all time. So I always find it interesting. So, yeah. So how about we do this throughout the show, throughout the show, check out the interviews that I've done. Look at the list of interviews. Tell me a name. And that's how we'll answer that question for the show. Tell me a name. And I respect every single person who I interviewed, and I'll respectfully let you know if I really enjoy the interview, if it was okay, or if I didn't enjoy it that much. We'll do that. You all, the Pancakes and Powerslams family, you deserve that because you are awesome. Any more Ask Chris questions? Do you think the booking would be better do you think the booking would be getting the boos, and would Roman be champ and feed everyone if Eric was around? I do think, because Eric Bischoff said before, the interview that when I interviewed him earlier this year, he's a big Roman Reigns fan, and he would still have Roman Reigns as one of his top guys, and I agree. Gabriel, if there was a debuting faction of new talent in WWE, who would you put in the faction as members? Good question. New debut. Now, is this WWE or NXT? Yeah. Okay, so you said WWE. Rusev is standing, yes. Lana just had an interview a few months ago and said he lost like 75 pounds. Okay. So for people that are not in the WWE a faction. Now it's always better for factions to debut as heels. Although, it's cool for them to debut as baby faces, but it usually gets a more shock factor. Shock the system. If they debut as heels. So I'll go Kenny, Bucks, and Cody. I mean, that makes sense. There you go. There's the faction. Kenny, Cody, and the Bucks. So I would have them debut actually in NXT at the end of the show. I would have a babyface win the title. Somebody like you have Ciampa and Aleister Black, but Aleister Black isn't really a strong enough character nowadays. He's out injured, but looks like they're kind of moving Gargano heel, but Gargano would be the perfect baby face to jump, honestly, because he was one of the most clear-cut, true baby faces. He's kind of going away from that, but Johnny Gargano would have been a good option. You know, him finally get his comeuppance against well, he's beat Ciampa before, but you know, they main evented TakeOver this year. You know, they can main event TakeOver next year. Gargano finally gets his comeuppance, and at the end of Gargano celebrating, you have Kenny Omega, Cody, and the Bucks jump him. So, and that leads to a, you know, perhaps a Kenny Omega versus Johnny Gargano title match. Cody could feud for the North American Championship. Imagine Cody versus Ricochet for the North American Championship. That would be amazing. And Kenny Omega versus Johnny Gargano for the NXT Championship would be amazing. And then I don't like heels versus heels. You would have like the Bucks versus Undisputed Era. I wouldn't be a fan of that. Whatever, you know, top babyface tag team, you know, Mustache Mountain. There you go. Mustache Mountain would be a good team. That's the Young Bucks could yeah, that would be actually be a really good match. The Young Bucks versus Mustache Mountain. Because I would say Hanson and Rowe, War Raiders. But I really like War Raiders. I've actually had Hanson. Actually, that's another one. I enjoyed my interview with Hanson. I enjoyed my interview. I've had a Ricochet on the show too. Actually Ricochet is one of my favorites. I really liked Ricochet on the show. Yeah, he's up there too. Yeah, so yeah, I think Mustache Mountain versus the Bucks would be really, really cool. So there you go. All right. You know I love the Ask Chris questions, ladies and gentlemen. Before, you know, I haven't asked any trivia yet, so here we go. Who was named ECW champion when it returned to WWE in 2006? Who was named ECW champion when it returned to WWE in 2006? 2006. I don't even know why I said 1996. 2006. Thank you for all of the congratulations. Let's see. Can I get a yeah, absolutely. Gabriel, you can get a happy birthday, 100%. Brandon, why didn't the Rock and HBK feud? From what I know, from what I heard, there was a couple of theories out. It was at the Rock wasn't interested at the time to feud with Shawn Michaels when they had the opportunity, and then someone also said that there was some animosity between Shawn Michaels and the Rock's family. So yeah, so that's that. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, Chris Farley, absolutely. My favorite WWE set. I liked the SmackDown Fist, man. You know, you can't get you can't Rob said loves the Chris Farley and Jeff Daniels and Paul McCartney segment. Absolutely. You remember when yeah, SmackDown Fist. I mean, that's probably the most notable set of all time. That's probably my favorite. Angelina Love's interview you did. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Zed said the Angelina Love interview you did was what brought you on board. I appreciate that. I enjoyed Angelina too. She's a sweet lady. Sweet lady. DHP, do you think it ruins WWE today when they use the same sets for the pay-per-views? Absolutely it does.
Back then, different sets made it feel like an actual pay-per-view. I 100% agree with that. Yeah, I mean, cost cutting is the reason why they don't have the sets anymore, and also the pyro. But it's those small nuances is what is what does it. So yeah. Yeah, I missed the pyro too. So, do you think? Wild Boy's asking, do you see Balor's career now if he didn't get hurt? And where do I see it if he didn't get hurt and relinquish the Universal Championship? He probably would have lost it to like Seth Rollins or I don't know. I don't think they had Kevin Owens ping to be champ at the time. They could have. So essentially instead of a 4-way, you would have had eventually like a Seth Rollins or Kevin Owens beat him. And then he probably would have fell into mid-cardom after that. Okay, I think that's good for now. Ricochet versus Turkey Sandwich, we get 5 stars. Oh yeah. Speaking of that, I enjoyed my interview with Dave Meltzer too. It was Dave Meltzer was pretty fun too. I've actually talked to him recently to get him back on the show, so that would be a good Q&A with Dave Meltzer. Would y'all be interested in that Q&A with Dave Meltzer? We're supposed to be talking. We're supposed to be scheduling him coming on the show. RVD is the correct answer. Good job. RVD. Next question. Here we go. This person was known in the WWE as the Colossus of Boggle Road. The Colossus of Boggle Road. Backlash. Yeah. You know what's so awesome about the sets, the WWE sets? I love No Mercy. I still love No Mercy for 64. And they had all the classic sets, man. They had the No Mercy, they had the Backlash kind of hook, the hook swing type of thing. Yeah, it was awesome. Very underrated wrestler. I agree. Brandon's asking about Elias on Raw. Oh yeah, we'll get that. We'll get there. Yes, Nathan Jones. Good job, Rob, Zed, Wild Boy. Yeah, Nathan James. Someone who WWE deemed so bad that they did not want him to be a part of WrestleMania, which I'm very happy that he was not a part of WrestleMania, because that would have just ruined the Undertaker streak to the time, because now it was counted as a handicap match. But I would have definitely not been interested in a tag team match with Nathan James. All right. So Max, okay, so yeah, people are interested in Dave Meltzer coming on the show. Legend has it that Nathan James would be on Super Showdown. He has a pretty good acting career now, as far as last time I checked, he has a pretty good acting career. So, yeah. All right, so let me ask one more question, and then go to the headlines for tonight. I'm texting Eric Bischoff right now. Thanks. Yeah, because he took time out of his schedule to come on the show, and I appreciate that. So I just texted him. Thank you. All right, so here's my next question. Nathan Jones was good in the Condemned for like 8 minutes. Spoiler. Okay. All right. You were just reciting a quote. Okay, that's a good question. Any more movie reviews in the future? Let me know. Anything PG or
Yeah, not G rated movies are kind of blah, except for my kids. My kids, I enjoy my G rated movies with my kids. I don't watch R rated movies. So PG is my lane. So any PG wrestling movie, let me know and we'll do a review. Well, boy, did you take your wife out or buy her gifts today? She took me out actually. I took her out this weekend. We did a staycation. I take her out every year. We're in Columbus, Ohio, the best city and state in the entire world. Go Bucks! Are you kidding me? Uh, big Buckeye fan, by the way. Huge Buckeye fan. Yeah. So I took her out. We had a staycation this year. I usually take her out. We fly somewhere every year. I surprise her. Florida, DC, Chicago, New York, Buffalo, New York. Different places that I usually surprise her every year. But we decided to do a staycation this year. And yes, it was a great game jump to it. I agree. So yeah, I took her to a movie. Went to eat, took her a movie on Friday, and then on Saturday I took her to an insanely expensive restaurant. You know, it was funny because I'm a big fan of jazz, and so I was looking for like jazz events to go to late at night. So yeah, so we went, and I've never been. It was downtown Columbus, and very nice area, and very upscale. And I was like, okay, so it'll probably be pricey. I was expecting that too. So love steak, a big steak fan. I actually had steak for my birthday. I mean, for the anniversary. My wife took me to a steakhouse and we got a couples massage. She's a massage therapist. And yeah, so we went to the show. I mean, we went to the jazz kind of the jazz show at the restaurant. And yeah, it was, so we first time I've ever been there. And so I opened the menu and oh my goodness, I almost had a heart attack. It was yeah. I went to go see Night School. Jump Tube is what asked me. Yeah, it was insanely expensive, like $80 steaks. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that at all. I opened it, I was like, whoa, this is insanely expensive. Robert's asking, what TV shows do you like to watch other than wrestling related programs? Good question. Big fan of Survivor. Big fan of Survivor. That's the show that my wife and I got my wife into Survivor a few years back. Yeah, everything's a la carte. Yeah. So I love college football. Love. Like everybody knows how much of a wrestling fan I am. I love college football. Like wrestling is 1 and college football is 1A. I mean 1A and wrestling's 1A and college football is 1B. Love college football. So I'll watch college football all day long. What else do I like to watch? I was a Jeopardy fanatic for a while. I haven't watched Jeopardy in a while, but I was really big on Jeopardy. I actually been to Jeopardy before. It was really cool. I've been to a live taping. What else do I like to watch? I like to watch Hack My Life, actually. Interesting. I love that show, Hack My Life. I love watching. I'm about to become a doctor in forensic psychology, so I love watching like investigation discovery shows. Anything on investigation discovery, A&E documentaries. My wife and I are currently watching a documentary on Jodi Arias. Yeah, so the Jodi Arias story, which is really hot, like 5 or 6 years ago, and my wife would like my wife and I. Then we watched like crazy covers like every night of that. And we're watching it now. We're watching the documentary now. We watched the first one last night. Yeah, any like crime documentaries, anything investigation discovery, anything like that. I love. Never seen BattleBots. Ever seen Bible Black? No, I haven't. Tweet me at Chris Prolific. Give me like a synopsis of that and where to find it, and let me know. I have a Hulu. Yeah, I do have Hulu. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one probably we're talking about. Wild Boy. I have Hulu, so it's probably that same documentary. Ask Chris. Hashtag Ask Chris. When people say Ohio State and not the Ohio State, does it bother you? No, it doesn't bother me, but I can see why. I can see why it would bother people. I do watch baseball. I'm a huge Indians fan. Go Tribe. Also watch pro football. Big Tennessee Titans fan. I also watch basketball. So my top three is wrestling, college football. I'm a big college basketball fan too. Big, huge Duke fan. Huge Duke fan. I've liked Duke ever since 1990. Yeah, 1990. So 28 years as a Duke fan. Yeah. So Tennessee Titans is my pro football team. So yeah. This is a really awesome show tonight. I love these questions. These Ask Chris questions is you're getting into the personal realm of Chris Featherstone here, and I like it. I like it. Ask Chris. Hashtag Ask Chris. Why not the Bengals or the Browns? Because I'm a big Ohio State fan. And I started liking the Tennessee Titans back in '96 when Eddie George got drafted over. So, yeah. Yeah. So that's when I started. I've been a Titans fan since '96. So that's when. That's why I like the Titans. All right. Cool. I think that's do I watch or play golf? For like JJB's asking that. If for probably like when Payne Stewart was around, Payne, Tiger, and oh goodness. Who's the other real popular golf guy? Why is his name slipping me? I don't know. Chat room, let me know. Who's the other really popular golf guy? I remember this is like around. No, not Rory Mickelson. Older guy. He's older now. No, not Jack Nicklaus. That's way. That's probably 50s now. I'm sure y'all know, but yeah. So probably about a couple of years, probably 2 or 3 years, I was real big into golf. Y'all know who was the other golfer's name? No, not Greg Norman, not Couples. No, that's like older. He was around when Tiger was like late 90s, early 2000s. He still plays, but he started to. He's one of the most popular. No, not Vijay Singh. Although that's a good. That's a good. Yeah, I remember. That's a good person to say because I would understand why you would say that. No, you're saying all of the names that are good people to say. Not Ernie either. All the people, no. Not. I guess he's not as popular, but hey, yeah, he's one of the most popular ones of the past 20 years. Y'all are saying some really good ones, but I don't know. I forgot his name. I think it was the Masters when. You know that's going to bug me now because I don't know. I don't know. No, not John Daly. That's like 80s. I'm talking about like 90s and like 2000s. All right. Let me know. Keep saying the golfers. Keep saying them. I don't know. If you ever come to the great state of I can't read that. The great state of I don't know. Me and my wife can have dinner on me at my restaurant. You're a chef. My man. Wow boy. You know what? I think where Detroit? I could read that. I'm joking. It said Michigan. I'm joking. Oh, what is that golfer's name? Thank you, Wild Boy. I appreciate it. Is it Detroit? Because Detroit's only like 3 hours away from us. 3.5. Okay. All right. Sounds good, man. Sounds good. I'll hold you to that. I don't want this to deter the talk much, but being you love football wrestling, if you had to build a WWE football team, who would be your top 5 off positions? Oh, okay. Like all time, a WWE football. Okay. So currently, quarterback, I would say Dolph Ziggler, running back, quarterback Dolph Ziggler, running back Apollo Crews, wide receiver, I would say probably like a Montez Ford. Another wide receiver would be oh goodness. I'll say someone like a 6', 6'1", 180 pounds, 190 pounds. I'd say probably like Kofi Kingston. Yeah, like a Kofi. Tight end would be Roman Reigns. Like a 6'3", 250, 60. That's fast. Good question. Who came up with the NWO angle? Jose's asking. Eric Bischoff. He was just on the show. All right. Real quick headlines. Let's jump into these headlines real quick. Jumping ahead to the headlines. Here we go. Yeah, Jack Nicklaus went to Ohio State. Yeah, absolutely. Definitely got to give him some love for that. You know, we better get this. We better get this before the show's over. Okay. As far as as far as who I'm talking about, I'm Googling most popular golf most popular golf people. Most popular golfers. There we go. Yes, the music. Phil Mickelson. That's who I was talking about. Did somebody say that already? I was talking about Phil Mickelson. I think somebody already said that. Yep, Phil Mickelson. All right, here we go. Next trivia question. Former WWE superstar blank debuted in the company as Quang. Former WWE superstar blank debuted in the company as Quang. Wow, boy, you did? Okay. Yeah, Phil Mickelson is who I was talking about. Okay. So what are your thoughts on Shawn Michaels coming back potentially to Survivor Series? To the Survivor Series. He may be back. What are your thoughts about that? I think that I'm not okay. I don't want to see Michaels back at Survivor Series. Honestly, I don't. If he comes back as a single, especially bald head Michaels, you know what I mean? Like, it's a whole different thing now since Michaels is bald. You know, kind of takes away the brand a bit, to be honest with you. And yeah, so bald head Michaels, you know, I can see you. I'll see you one time and I'll be okay with it, but anything else will be uncivilized. So, great job, Savio. You guys are awesome. Great trivia heads. Savio Vega. You got to recall how good Savio was. Yeah, Savio was very good. I agree. He was really good. Okay. What happened? What happened, Savio? Yeah. He ended up being, he came from Puerto Rico, became, he was one of the top stars in the World Wrestling Council, and he started doing some booking stuff Puerto Rico again, as far as I remember. Here we go. La Familia consisted of Edge, Vicky Guerrero, Chavo Guerrero, Zack Ryder, Kurt Hawkins, and who? La Familia consisted of Edge, Vicky Guerrero, Chavo Guerrero, Zack Ryder, Kurt Hawkins, and who? I won't say no to HBK return. Chrome Dome or no. Bald-headed Michaels. I think Undertaker wants Shawn to retire him. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, if that's the case, which I did consider that, I would rather see that at Survivor Series, which I'm cool with. I'm cool with that. So I'd rather see Taker Michaels at Mania, but Undertaker did he did debut at SummerSlam, so that makes sense. I see a lot of answers as far as who the person could be that's in the La Familia, but none of them are correct so far. None of them are correct. All right, so what's next? Neville makes his return. What do y'all think about Neville coming back? Yeah, it was pretty cool that Neville, he came back in Dragon Gate. Talked about how he he's going to attack all the fan favorites. He's still healing it up, and there's some discussion that he may be the surprise person that joins LIJ. Naito said that because Hiromu Takahashi is injured, he said, take your time. You'll still have a spot when you come back. But there you go, Wild Boy. Bam Neely. I wonder where he is. Anybody contact him? Let me know. I would like to have Bam Neely on the show. I'm sure he has stories for days as far as why he was there for a hiccup in the WWE. He was there for so short of a time. I would love to have Bam Neely on the name on the show. Next trivia question. Who won the 1995 WWE King of the Ring match? Who won the 1995 WWE King of the Ring match? So yeah. So if Neville joins LIJ, I would be interested in that, because I think that I think he just run right through the juniors. That would be interesting. Yeah, I'd be interested in that. So the update in the Royal Rumble winner, WrestleVotes reported this, and they said that as of now, it's a repeat winner. So I'm not a big fan. Yep. We got Big Bald Bean. Rob, and GHP. Mabel, Viscera, Big Daddy V, whatever you want to call him. Yeah. So repeat winner. So the repeat winner so far is Austin. And he's retired. Orton, which will be a 3-time winner, and I mean Orton's having some really good heel work right now, but I do not want Randy Orton to run again, or John Cena. That would be terrible. I really don't want a repeat winner to win it, because right now you have Orton, Cena, and Austin. Who else is a repeat winner? Batista, he's a repeat winner. He's won twice. Who else has won twice? 2 or 3. Well, there's only been one ever to win 3 times, and that was Austin. Orton's won twice. Cena's won twice. Who else has won twice? Orton, Cena. Did Triple H win twice? Shawn, Triple H did win. Shawn Michaels won twice too. No, Flair just won in 92. He's never won. He didn't win twice. No, Rock only won it in 2000. HBK's won it twice. He's won it in what was it, 95 and 96. And I highly doubt that they would have Shawn Michaels win. That would, yeah. Hogan won it twice. They wouldn't have Hogan come back. He wouldn't win it. JJB's asking me what's my favorite Royal Rumble. The first one that stands out is 92. Because it was for the title. I know that they just did it, a couple of years ago for the title, but definitely wasn't the same. That's the one that sticks out the most, is 92. I think that I liked one better. I think I'm gonna watch all the Royal Rumbles, and I'll be able to give you a more accurate answer on that, because I don't think my answer is 92. That's the one that sticks. That's the one that sticks out now. That's probably the most popular one of all time. But I didn't want Flair to win at that time in my life, so that wasn't good for me. I don't even know if there was ever a Rumble that actually wanted someone to win. I wanted Hogan to win his Rumbles. The Taker one was good. I think that was 07. Was the 07 Taker the one for Taker? Let me know. Was 07 the one that Taker won? I think it was 07. Him and Michaels was the last one in there, if I'm not mistaken. I think maybe that's my favorite. Maybe 2007. Because if I remember, the one that Taker won was 07. I think 07 was really good. Let me find that out real quick. Who won the 2007 Royal Rumble? My guess is Taker. I used to know all of the. Watch my Royal Rumble. Watch my episodes over the past few years close to the Rumble. I used to know all of. If I think about it long enough, I can tell you every single Royal Rumble winner from start to finish. I think Taker won in 07. Yes, Taker won in 07. All right. So yeah, being a repeat person, I don't think that's a good idea. There were some rumors of Andrade Cien Almas, great in the ring, but definitely not, someone I would want to, headline WrestleMania. So no way. What's next? Shelton Benjamin frustrated about not competing. He beats Daniel Bryan. I just, Benjamin's grossly underrated, and he, they brought back when they did the split, they brought back Jinder, Benjamin, and Kurt Hawkins. Now, Jinder ended up being, WWE champion and all that. And then, but Benjamin, he got hurt and then he came back. I like the team with him and Gable. They never got a chance to, become, the top team. But now they, grossly underrated, man. But, I think that he's unfortunate. He's in that type of position where now he's kind of forced to just be there, and that's the sad part of it. I don't see WWE at this point of Shelton Benjamin's career. I don't see the WWE really doing much of anything with them. So, unfortunately. All right, let's get into Raw and SmackDown. What do you grade Raw? What's your grade for Monday Night Raw? I would give Raw with the exception of the end of Raw, I think that it was bad. I think it was terrible. I think Raw was terrible. I was so out of it. I was so just dejected from Raw watching it. And, it's so funny because my wife is definitely a casual fan. She wants me to watch it with her, but she's usually like doing something like folding laundry or something. Monday's her laundry day, so like she's usually like folding laundry, watching stuff, and she was like, "Hey, can you?" She asked me like, "Hey, can you watch it upstairs with me?" And I'm usually having to do work in my office, while I'm watching Raw, and or watching Raw and doing something on my laptop. But yeah, I had some time to watch it with her. And I was playing games on my phone, and this is like literally, I was playing games on my phone. I was looking on my phone. I was on Facebook. I was just so out of it watching Raw. It was so boring to me that I was just. And she was like, she jokingly, because she knows that I do a pretty good job, keeping my attention and staying focused. But she joked with me and was just like, Raw's not keeping your attention. I'm like, yeah, you're right. It's definitely not keeping my attention because it was just insanely boring. The end of Raw was fantastic. Minus hashtag Baldy Shawn, BALDIE Shawn. That's the hashtag we're creating here, the Pancakes and Powerslams show. Baldy Shawn. Yeah, but Dean Ambrose in-ring interview has an option. So basically, it was revolved around Ambrose kind of teasing the turn again, and there's no way he's going to turn on Raw because they have to have a match scheduled for Super Showdown. Come on, guys, why would you even tease a turn for Raw, knowing that that Super Showdown was this week, unless they're kind of teasing it and for Super Showdown if they decide to turn them then. But yeah, whatever. So yeah, he loses against Ambrose by DQ. He loses against Strowman by DQ because of interference by the Shield. Reigns beats Ziggler. Connor beats Bobby Roode. I don't know what's going on with this Connor push that they're having now. Looks like they're just kind of building this probably for a tag team match to happen again. Yeah, for some reason they're thinking something of Connor again, which makes sense because he's a monster. He looks like a monster. But they've been misusing him with the Ascension. But I mean, this is probably going to lead into a loss against him and Chad Gable, against Bobby Roode and Chad Gable. B Team beats the Revival. ALP attacks them. McIntyre beats Seth Rollins. That match was good. I mean, Rollins is probably the best wrestler in WWE right now. The Elias and Kevin Owens segment I loved that. Absolutely loved it. absolutely loved it. That was so old school to me. And to me, you know, it's one of those things that now, and Undertaker was talking about this. You know, he had a rare interview with Pastor Ed Young for the new wrestling series recently, and he was talking about how wrestling moves should just be utilized to further a story. That should be wrestling, and I agree. I'm a traditionalist when it comes to that. Now, don't get me wrong. The Ricochets, the Real Osprey, even Ricochet uses his moves to further a storyline. We saw that with Velveteen Dream. But like the Will Ospreys of this world, fantastic in the ring. But even someone like a Zack Sabre Jr., as athletic and good as he is in the ring, right now he's doing some of his best work because he's doing a really good, he's becoming a really good heel for Suzuki-gun. We saw that at Fighting Spirit Unleashed. So, characters is where it's at, and I think that the fans is kind of messed that up too in a lot of ways, because WWE and just wrestling in general, they have this kind of rule where that's a good question. Where's Sanity been? I'll check on that. Where's Sanity? Yeah, just the faces and the heels. And I interviewed, I was a part of a conference call last week for Ring of Honor, and I was a part of a panel of media personalities that interviewed Jay Lethal and Madison Rain. And I asked that to Jay Lethal, as far as, two of his role models wrestling wise is Randy Savage and Ric Flair. And I was asking him how important it is for characters to him. And he's like, yeah, we live in a gray area and people choose the faces and heels. He said, personally, I still like when there's like, a good baby face and a good heel. And I totally agree with that, because that's what really put people over, having someone to cheer and to boo. And I think Elias and Kevin Owens did such an incredible job just booing the Seattle crowd, which is okay, which is weird. Let me tell you why. No disrespect to Seattle, I don't know anyone who lives in Seattle. I don't think I do, unless someone moved from to Seattle from high school or something, or college. I was confused at Seattle on Raw because they booed the snot out of Elias and Owens to the fact that they couldn't even talk, which was excellent. That's the type of reaction healed. And my wife, she was just in awe of it. Like, she was like, she did catch that part, and she was just like kind of sitting there, like we both were just kind of sitting there. And I was just like, yes, and she knows, faces and heels and things like that, but she didn't understand the reaction. And I was like, this is what heels, this is what it's all about. She was like, wow, they can't even, say anything. I'm like, that is awesome, because that's what heels get to the point where it was so, like, BJ Whitmer, I got to give him some credit, man. There was a point at ROH. Yeah. Those booths felt like that day when HBK gave Canada the bird. Yep, I remember that. Yeah, I loved that heat, and it's we need that type of heat again, because that's what really, really puts you over, as a wrestler, and that's what really distinguishes the good guys from the bad guys. But yeah, Seattle, they confused me because they booed them like crazy. But I'm like, okay, so I'm a big basketball fan. Seattle Sonics, Sean Kemp, Gary Payton, Detlef Schrempf, the legends. You had KG for a year before they went over to OKC, and I'm like, so if I remember, this was 2008. If I remember correctly, because of a lack of public funding to get out of debt, and they owed some money to Key Bank, if I'm not mistaken, the arena, for their lease. So because of some poor financial decisions from the Seattle people, and then the mayor promising that the franchise, who was sold to the Seattle Storm, who was then sold to like the Starbucks guy, if I'm not mistaken, and then like some association in Oklahoma City. I think the mayor said, yeah, we're still going to have it in Seattle. And then they move over to Oklahoma City. So if anything, you need to boo the Seattle mayor back in 2008 for giving you an empty promise. So I don't know why you would boo the people who told you about Seattle, and it's, domestic. It's within the city that the reason why it's not in Seattle anymore. They move over to OKC. So I don't think people know their history when it comes to that. So yeah, but yeah, the Heat was awesome though. The Heat was absolutely awesome. That was the second best part of the night. The first was the Taker, Kane, Michaels, and Tripp thing. All right, SmackDown. SmackDown was the pain is still fresh. Yeah, that's true. And then they go to the finals 5 years later as OKC. Yeah, that's very true. Very true. Renee is really coming into her own. I'm still not sold on Renee yet. Sadly, I'm still not on the Renee train yet. I love R-Truth. Carmella's fitting well into that babyface role. And it's funny because it seemed like she would have been a heel for a while. I mean, she was just the obnoxious heel, which worked, and it was really awesome. But she's really fit into the. I love R-Truth. I got a soft spot for R-Truth, man. Just for the past, almost 20 years, the whole getting rowdy thing was weird to me. But when he became Ron the Truth Killings in NWA, the first Black NWA champion after all the years of the franchise, he was the first Black NWA champion. How about that? Ended up winning it twice. And so, yeah, I mean, I've talked to R-Truth on the phone multiple times. Nice guy, super duper nice guy. So I wish him, I just wish him success, man, just as a person. So yeah, I'm glad that they're rebounding. I'm glad that he's like the man on SmackDown. He's one of a big thing on SmackDown. The only criticism I have about that match is they did a dance break, but I think they should have done the music. And I think they should do that every time. I'm glad that they beat Almas in Vega. I don't think that hurts Vega and Almas because R-Truth and Carmella are very hot commodity right now. But I think they should do this. I think, R-Truth for Life podcast Q&A. That's actually pretty good. I know a lot of people in WWE. The only thing is WWE is so strict on that stuff. They're so strict. I have people. I know people and talk to people who are current WWE superstars, and they're so strict on that stuff. So I think from now on, when they do those mixed matches, I think that they should say dance break and then do the same music they broke out on Truth TV and just do a dance break. I think that would be so over. Absolutely. All right. I think, yes, Rob, yes. R-Truth to be tag champ and not believe he's champ. Like, keep telling his partner to get away and stop following. I think that you just gave WWE an idea, ladies and gentlemen. Credit to Rob on the Pancakes and Powerslams show. I think that's a fantastic idea. Yeah, I'll be fine with R-Truth and Nakamura for the U.S. Championship, and R-Truth win, actually. I love Nakamura, but they're doing such a poor job with Nakamura. They have underutilized him like crazy. They're doing a terrible job with Nakamura. Yeah, so I'm not buying the AJ and Joe feud. I'm just not. The one night in Milwaukee segment, that one is planned. They cut off the "I want you," and it seems like they're going to develop further because they're taking it out of context, which makes sense. I think this is good. All right, Becky Lynch thing at the end. People don't want Charlotte Flair to be a babyface. I think it's quite clear. So quite clear. They keep trying it, but it's not working, ladies and gentlemen. It's not working. All right. I'm not either with AJ Joe. Yeah, I'm not into it. I'm just not into it. I think it's a bit cheesy. You know, I think they're really trying to stretch, make it a thing, and it's just not. I'm not interested. I'm not interested in this storyline. So, next trivia. Ken Shamrock has one reign as WWE World Tag Team Champion. Who was his partner? Ken Shamrock has one reign as WWE World Tag Team Champion. Who was his partner? Yeah, so I would give SmackDown probably a solid C, just a flat out C. I would give Raw a C minus. Before the Elias thing, D minus. The Elias thing brought it up to a D plus, and the Michaels Taker Trip Kane thing brought it up to a C minus. So, Brandon, yes, good job, big boss man, or as Nels would say, boss man. Was anybody else scared of Nails when they were kids? I was scared to death of Nails. I was like ridiculously scared of Nails. Like that's when wrestling was real to me. I was absolutely scared of Nails when he would come. I was like, man, you know, you guys need to really take him to the jail, like to jail. You guys really let him out of jail, and you really need to take him to jail because he's attacking someone. He's about to kill him. So that was my mindset when Nails would come out. All right, flavor of the week. Here we go.
It is now time for the flavor of the week.
You were more scared of Zeus and No Holds Barred. Yeah, Zeus was scary, but yeah, he was scary too. I agree, but yeah, Nails was just like ridiculously scary. Came out in the suit, the prison suit. It was a scary sight. Yes, the week. Absolutely. Who were Davey Boy Smith's tag team championship partners in WWE? Who were Davey Boy Smith's tag team championship partners in WWE? Yeah, I think what you were 9-10 no holds barred. Yeah. You were scared of Isaac Yankum, Brandon? Just Chucky the doll. Yeah, I was scared of Chucky for a little bit too. GSP's asking, do you miss the brand only pay-per-views? I do. I don't like the dual branded pay-per-views. I'm not a fan of them at all. It's too long. 4-hour minor pay-per-views is stupid to me. You're not really pushing your characters. Bring it back to the dual branded pay-per-views. I think this whole thing is they're just throwing stuff, and it doesn't even make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. Absolutely just 0 sense. 4-hour minor pay-per-views is a bad call. Underdeveloped storylines, and you're just throwing them on a 4-hour minor pay-per-view. It's just terrible. I don't like this at all, actually. Wild Boy and Rob, yes, have it correct. Good job. Great job. Dynamite Kid and Owen Hart. Someone said, Gabriel said Lex Luger. Good choice. The Allied Powers never won the tag team championships, though. Although they had one of the best WWE theme musics of all time. I loved the Allied Powers theme song. Burnt, 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 burnt. Big fan of it. All right, so here are the final 8, or as the Elite 8 in basketball, based on your votes. This is the best 1980s WWE wrestler never to win a WWE championship. So here we go. To the day, WWE TLC 2016 was a great brand only. Yeah, Miz and Dolph ladder match was classic. Yep, I agree. All right, here we go. Paul Orndorff, Bam Bam Bigelow. Which one? Paul Orndorff, Bam Bam Bigelow. Which one out of those two? Which one of those two? Looks like we got Triple B so far. Yep. Bam, bam. Remember that theme song? Bam, bam. Boom, 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 boom. Bam, bam. All right, here we go. Here's next. Yep. King Kong Bundy and Junkyard Dog. Yeah, I love Bam Bam's attire too. I agree. Bam Bam was Vader. Yeah. Yeah, that was some Japan stuff. Looks like Bundy. Really? I love JYD. Oh, wait. Here's the Surgeons. Oh, wait a minute. So it's tied. Okay, looks like Bundy got barely the stretch. Wait, there's JYDs. It looks like we're kind of tied up. What do y'all think? Okay, so looks like Bundy barely got a stretch. Yeah. Wait. Looks like JYD got a last minute stretch. Okay. Yeah, Bundy. Looks like Bundy barely got it. Barely got it. I would have picked JYD, but you all are the people. You are the votes. Dusty. Dusty Rhodes, baby. And Cowboy Bob Orton. Which would be this would have been a pretty good pretty cool feud back in the day. Dusty Rhodes, baby. And Orton. All right, so it says Dusty, baby. All right, I can't find the Harley Race one. So Harley Race against Jake Roberts. Wait, no. I'm sorry. It was Dusty and Roberts. I'm sorry. Dusty Rhodes and Jake Roberts. I don't know if y'all changes what y'all think. Where you got Dusty or Jake? Dusty or Jake? Okay. So it looks like y'all going with Dusty. Yeah, looks like y'all still going with Dusty. It looks like. Oh, y'all got some snake. Dusty, Jake. Uh-oh. Did that change you? Still Dusty? Okay. Y'all still got Dusty? Yeah, it is hard. I agree. Dusty and Jake. Uh-oh. Looks like y'all got Jake. Looks like Jake with the upset. Jake DDT. Yeah, looks like Jake came through. Dusty for me. I'm a big Dusty fan. Dusty's the GOAT for me. All right, who you got with Harley Race and Cowboy Bob Orton? Harley Race and Cowboy Bob Orton. You don't think Jake was never championship material, JSP? I think Snake was. All right, Harley Race. Looks like Harley Race. Yeah. Looks like Harley Race. Okay. Harley Race. All right, so yeah, Jake DDT. All right, so Harley Race and Jake Roberts. Here you got Harley Race and Jake Roberts. Final four, ladies and gentlemen. We are at the final four. Who you call? I don't know. I have no idea how that. What was that? I have no clue. There's only like one screen up, two screens up. I have dual screens. I have like three screens in front of me. I have dual screens and a tablet, and that just came out of nowhere. Okay, it was the government. Yeah, it wouldn't be a surprise, actually. Yeah, it was really weird. All right, Harley. All right, so Harley Race. Harley's up there. You guys got Harley over Jake. All right. So Bam Bam Bigelow and King Kong Bundy. I got King Kong Bundy to the final four. All right. I dig it. Bundy or Bam Bam, which would be a really good match. Bundy and Bam Bam. That's pretty cool. Bam Bam. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the finals of the this is a really good tournament, guys. This was a really good tournament. All right, so final the final two. Bam Bam and Harley Race. So you got Bam Bam, Harley Race. Those are the final two. Bam Bam and Harley Race. The ring would not survive. I agree. The ring would not survive. I agree with that statement. Bam Bam, Harley Race. Who wins this awesome tournament? The best person never to win a WWE championship. Who you got? All right. Yeah, that's true. Past his prime in the 80s. You guys are awesome. I think we have a winner, ladies and gentlemen. The greatest, the best 1980s WWE wrestler never to win a championship is Bam Bam. Look at this bracket. It's a pretty cool bracket here. Bam Bam Bigelow, ladies and gentlemen. Good job. All right, let's get into some Super Showdown real quick. Yeah, congrats, Bam Bam. I agree. Congrats, Bam Bam. All right, Super Showdown. Let's get this card up here. Real quick. We only got a couple of minutes left. Still think the real winner is Jake. Well, you guys unanimous. You guys picked Bam Bam. Bam Bam. Oh, when you fully become a doctor, will that take away your time for the podcast? Good question, my boy. I don't plan on it. I plan on still being here, man, with you all, and even as a doctor, I will still keep this going, Lord willing. All right, real quick matches. I think Shawn Michaels either cost the Undertaker against Triple H to lead to the tag team match, or DQ finish. Lashley and Cena wins. Let's see. No, I'm not going to watch Super Showdown live. No, I'm gonna watch it on demand. I think Daniel Bryan wins. I would have thought that the Miz was going to win, but after what we saw on SmackDown, I think that it's going to be. And they've done a terrible job booking Daniel Bryan. Just terrible job. The Shield beats Braun, Dolph, and Drew. Bellas and Ronda Rousey beats Wyatt Squad. I think they're going to have Joe win. I think Buddy Murphy's going to take it in Australia because that's what he's going to, that's his stomping grounds. Same thing with Iconics. I think they're going to beat Asuka and Naomi. Becky Lynch retained and the New Day retains. Those are my predictions. Ladies and gentlemen, what a show tonight. This is probably going to go down as one of my favorites of all time. First of all, Eric Bischoff coming on for a live Q&A. Thank you so much, Eric, once again. And you all, the interaction tonight was absolutely fantastic. It was absolutely awesome. Thank you so much, everybody, for being on the show tonight. Awesome time. Follow at Chris Prolific. Yeah, thanks everybody. So yeah, awesome. Jump Tube. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Well, Bischoff helped a little. Thank you for putting my show over. Thank you very much. Big time get D-Max says, thank you very much. Thank you, Wild Boy. Thank you so much, Zed. Thank you, everybody, for all your awesomeness. Greatly appreciated. 100% appreciate you all. You all are fantastic. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Evan Tech Prout, my boy, who's actually in the chat room right now. He had an emergency, but he was able to jump on the chat room. I am Chris Featherstone. This is episode 340 of Pancakes and Powerslams show. Thank you all for joining. Until next week, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy your week of wrestling. God bless. And always remember, I do it for you. Have a good night, everybody. Bye-bye.